Shoulder! Height!
Don't move yet. You'll backtrack. If we start, we'll just carry on.
Thank you. Pray be seated. Excellencies, my lords, aldermen, sheriffs, chief commoner, honoured guests, pray silence for the Recorder of London, who will deliver an address of welcome on behalf of the Court of Common Council. Sir.
To His Majesty the Emperor of Japan. Your Majesty, we, the Lord Mayor, Aldermen and Commons of the City of London are honoured to welcome Your Majesty to the Guildhall on the occasion of your visit to this country as a guest of our beloved King. Our two nations enjoy a strong and long-standing relationship, which can be traced back hundreds of years. This partnership, founded on shared values and a shared view of the world, continues to thrive, as was recognised last year by the agreement of the Hiroshima Accord by our Prime Ministers, which enhances cooperation in all aspects of the UK-Japan Global Strategic Partnership. The UK and Japan enjoy strong bilateral trade and investment links, with trade between both countries valued at over £28 billion, and Japanese investment into the UK has grown to approximately £100 billion. This is underpinned by the UK-Japan Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement and the UK's accession to the CPTPP last year. The City of London is keen to play its part in enhancing this relationship, as demonstrated by the visit of the Lord Mayor to Tokyo in May, a city with which the City of London has an active memorandum of understanding to enhance cooperation in the financial services sector. We are also delighted to see cultural, scientific and educational connections between our two countries flourishing as we bring our creativity and innovation to bear in addressing the great challenges and opportunities the world faces. We thank you for honouring us with your presence here this evening. We hope Your Majesty's visit is an enjoyable one and that you will take home many further fond memories of the United Kingdom. Signed by the Order of the Court.
Please stand and pray silence for grace by the chaplain to the Right Honourable the Lord Mayor.
Let us pray.
A prayer in English, inspired by traditional Waka poetic forms. God's precious jasmine blooms fragrantly in the night, friendship imparting. Banquets of honour create a love that is enduring. Domine, dirige nos. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, pray, be seated.
The King.
Pray silence the Right Honourable, the Lord Mayor.
Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness, Your Excellencies, my Lords, Aldermen, Sheriffs, Chief Commoner, honored guests, konbanwa, good evening. As the 695th Lord Mayor of London, it is an immense honor to welcome you to Guildhall this evening, Your Majesty, and to present to you the address of welcome, which conveys our esteem for Japan. The Lady Mayoress and I were privileged to join you and Empress Masako at the state banquet hosted by Their Majesties the King and Queen at Buckingham Palace last night, and it is our pleasure to be joined this evening by His Royal Highness, the Duke of Edinburgh. Your Majesty, I know that you have strong personal connections to the UK, having studied the very important history of cargo carrying on the Thames at Oxford University, and even titling your memoir, The Thames and I, after London's iconic waterway. To quote Sir Winston Churchill, whose statue sits just over there, the Thames is the silver thread of our nation's history, a vital trade artery around which this great city was formed. And as you say in your memoir, Your Majesty, the Thames is a necessary, vital element in the London scene. If I write a memoir, it will record that for over 2 decades, the Lady Mayoress and I undertook the restoration of a Thames cargo vessel, sailing barge Lady Daphne. This mayoral year, we've reinstated the historic offices of the water bailiffs, restarted the Lord Mayor's view of the London Stones, and in September, we will hold our first Thames Day as part of World Rivers Day. So, Your Majesty, we in the city fully understand why you would choose to spend your time in the UK visiting the Thames Barrier. Thank you. And in turn, Your Majesty, there are some strong personal links to your great nation. I studied East Asian history under Edmund O. Reischauer, the former United States ambassador to Japan. And believe it or not, 4 generations of Vinellis have lived in Japan. My son is just one of 3 million foreign nationals living in Japan, 20,000 of whom are Britons, living with his wife, and the 4th generation 2 grandsons in Yokohama. Our 2 nations complement each other like sun and water. Now, halfway across the planet from one another, our comparative advantages are not heavy goods and commodities. Our comparative advantages are ideas and innovations, concentrated knowledge products. Take microchips, for example. And over the years, the UK has readily adopted many ideas, innovations, and aspects of Japanese culture, from anime, karaoke, and karate, to ramen, matcha, and mochi. And in turn, we are thrilled that several iconic British products have been granted a special protected status in Japan, such as the London cured smoked salmon and Scotch beef we've enjoyed this evening. The London Symphony Orchestra, which is based in our very own Barbican Centre to the north, has made regular tours to Japan since the 60s. And Elizabeth and I are getting in a little bit to Japanese zither music. Now, as partners very much in the G7 and the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, I can't say this very easily, the CPTPP, Japan and the UK are each other's most important allies in Asia and Europe, respectively. Japan was the first country the UK signed a free trade agreement with when we left the European Union. And the Hiroshima Accord will only deepen that relationship in areas like defense and renewable energy. Our global financial centers, Tokyo and the Square Mile, are flourishing thanks to the Memorandum of Understanding signed by the Tokyo Metropolitan Government and City of London Corporation in 2017. And the impact of this MOU was evident during my visit to Japan last month, where I had the pleasure of hosting a press conference and bilateral meetings with Tokyo's Governor Koike. We discussed opportunities for further collaboration, particularly in asset management, fintech, and green finance. Friends, the City of London, to which I affectionately refer as the world's oldest democratic workers and residents cooperative, is rightly known for its professional and financial services. But our square mile contains many more areas of expertise, knowledge miles, which are equally essential for global prosperity. From the 15th century New Learning, the origins of the scientific method, to the 16th century Gresham College, to the 17th century Royal Society, our city has been a timeless home for global innovation. Indeed, in 1863, 5 young Japanese noblemen came to our city, the world's coffee house, to study analytical chemistry at University College London. The Choshu 5, as they were known, would go on to become fundamental makers of modern Japan. And today, the city is home to 40 learned societies, 70 higher education institutions, and 130 research institutes, with a workforce that includes as many scientists, engineers, and technicians as financiers, accountants, and actuaries. Speaking here at Guildhall in 1971, Emperor Showa praised the quiet but effective collaboration between the scholars, scientists, and technical experts of our two countries. 50 years on, and the problems facing the world today have evolved, but the willingness of our scholars, scientists, and technical experts to work together to tackle them is unchanged, something you remarked upon at Buckingham Palace last night, Your Majesty, and witnessed firsthand today during your visit to the Francis Crick Institute, which supports an innovative Japan-UK research partnership covering a range of public health issues. Fun fact, the quality of Japan-UK joint research is 4.5 times the world average. Japan is our 4th largest research collaborator. Now, current geopolitical and technological trends render coordinated action even more necessary. So we welcome Japanese support for this year's Connect to Prosper mayoral theme, which seeks to leverage the power of our city's unique connections to tackle global challenges and promotes international standards that provide stability and security. The 6 initiatives are an ethical AI initiative, through which 30 countries have signed the Walbrook AI Accord, emphasizing the application of ISO standards, particularly 42001, and a course which 5,000 people from over 50 countries, including Japan, have taken on the ethics of AI. We have a space protection initiative which aims to keep space clean using space debris removal insurance bonds, with the support of Tokyo Marine and in cooperation with Astroscale, a leading Japanese firm out to clean up space. We have our Green Finance Initiative to reinforce carbon markets, on which our policy chairman, Chris Hayward, leads. Our Smart Economies Networks Initiative, using international X-ray standards for trade, constructing Science Initiative for life science laboratories, and Galanos to accelerate global mental health research, working with your alma mater, Oxford University, the Wellcome Trust, and MQ Mental Health. Sir Walter Raleigh said, "There are two things scarce matched in the universe, the sun in heaven and the Thames on earth." This quote is pertinent tonight because it contains symbols of both Japan and the UK. The silver thread of the Thames connecting us, Pace, Sir Winston Churchill, and the sun representing Japan, Nippon, land of the rising sun. Our nations complement and support one another. And to paraphrase Raleigh, our close and deep friendship is scarce matched in the universe. Domo arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you. And may I now invite everyone to rise for the national anthem of Japan, after which I shall propose the toast to the Emperor. The toast is the Emperor of Japan. The Emperor of Japan.
silence for His Majesty, the Emperor of Japan.
My Lord Mayor, Your Royal Highness, Your Excellencies, Mr. Lords Alderman, Sheriffs, Chief Commoner, honored guests, I would like to express my profound appreciation to you for hosting me tonight and for the warm words of welcome from the Lord Mayor. I had the opportunity of visiting this Guildhall in 1983 when I was studying at the University of Oxford. Also, on several occasions, I went into the Guildhall Library to peruse the historical records concerning the history of water transport on the River Thames in the 18th century, which I found very useful for my research. I also have fond memories of visiting pubs around here during lunchtime. Looking back at my irreplaceably precious 2 years at the University of Oxford, I am reminded of how warmly I was welcomed by the people of this country. At the beginning of my stay in Oxford, I was not used to handling British currency and found myself using too many notes and collecting too many heavy coins. On one occasion, they all fell out of my purse. I was rather upset, but the people nearby joined me in picking up the coins. I was struck by the kindliness of British people and went back to the college with a sense of relief. Today, electronic transactions have become so prevalent in this country that people not only do not use coins, but do not even carry wallets with them, making do with credit cards or smartphones. This fact really makes me feel the passage of 40 years. On the other hand, what feels unchanged on this visit is the warmth of the people of this country, as well as the vigor and energy of the City of London. When we look back at the history of the city and Japan, we might start at the dawn of the Meiji era, when Japan was steaming ahead towards modernization and learning from the United Kingdom, the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution. Japan's first ever railway connecting Tokyo and Yokohama was financed by foreign bonds issued in the city. It was pivotal to Japan's subsequent economic development. Today, I am extremely pleased that the connectivity of the markets of the two countries and the collaboration between the local governments are being strengthened, as demonstrated by the Memorandum of Understanding between the City of London Corporation and Tokyo Metropolitan Government, and that we are seeing further developments in the cooperative relationship with the city, as illustrated by the Lord Mayor's visit to Japan every year. Turning to the economic relationship of Japan and the United Kingdom, There are over 900 Japanese firms based in various parts of the UK, playing an important role in the British economy. They comprise a diverse array of businesses covering a range of sectors, including automobiles, high-speed railways, precision machinery, ICT, offshore wind power generation, finance, real estate, and pharmaceuticals. At the same time, bilateral cooperation on the economy and investment continues to deepen, with the accumulation of about 22 trillion yen or 115 billion pounds worth of direct investment between the two countries. Such close bonds have been extended to efforts to provide solutions to some of the pressing challenges facing mankind. Today, I visited the Francis Crick Institute, a state-of-the-art research establishment in the areas of medicine and bioscience. I was encouraged to hear about the close collaboration between the researchers of both countries to promote the health of people around the world. The visit was also an opportunity for me to reflect on the efforts and achievements of our predecessors, including the discovery of the double spiral structure of DNA by Dr. Crick, which gave rise to such cutting-edge endeavors. Tomorrow, the Empress and I will be visiting the Young B&A, where we will see a special exhibition highlighting the relationship of Japan's nature and folklore with its popular culture, technology, and design. We look forward to seeing and feeling firsthand how Japan's culture and art, transcending time and space, is giving inspiration to the children of the United Kingdom and the Japanese children living in the UK as we interact with the children of both countries. The people and the connections between people are what drive our societies forward and create the foundations for exchanges between countries. The citizens of both Japan and the United Kingdom have cherished the connections between people and have made bold efforts to solve a range of daunting challenges, building on the achievements of their predecessors, adopting ideas broadly from nature, science, culture, and the earth, and flexibly embracing new technologies. It will be a source of great pleasure to us if our visit to the United Kingdom can provide a chance for the people of both countries to reconfirm their bonds of friendship and goodwill, underpinned by the long-standing people-to-people connections, as well as an opportunity to pass on to the next generation the leadership role in resolving the challenges common to mankind. In closing, may I raise my glass to propose a toast to the good health of the Lord Mayor and Lady Mayonnaise. to the continued development and prosperity of the City of London and to lasting friendship and goodwill between the peoples of the United Kingdom and Japan. The Lord Mayor and the City of London Corporation.
The Right Honourable, the Lord Mayor.
Honoured guests, thank you once more for being here this evening. And thank you, Your Majesty, for your kind words about the city and the UK. An old friend of mine, Charlie McCreevy, was once the former EU competition commissioner. And he used to have a habit of leaning forward between small audiences of several hundred people and say, I probably shouldn't be telling you this. I wasn't too sure whether I should share an intimate story with such a large audience. But after hearing your own tale of the kindliness of the British people, I hope to actually return the coins to you. I want to tell you about a moment of goodwill from my very first trip to Japan in the early 80s, at the time you were studying in Oxford, Your Majesty. As tourists do, I decided to visit an onsen, a traditional Japanese bathing facility. And I'll admit, I was quite anxious about observing proper etiquette. And noticing this, a Japanese man who was at least 80 years old, approached me and unblinking, and without any kind of judgment, demonstrated how this gaijin should wash himself. The poignancy of the moment was undiminished by the fact that we were both, shall we say, completely and utterly disrobed. And like you, Your Majesty, I have never forgotten the kindliness that I was shown. To finish, I'd like to share a haiku by a great poet of the Edo period, Yosabuson. The light of a candle is transferred to another candle. Spring, twilight. It reminds me of a quote by Thomas Jefferson. He who receives an idea from me receives instruction himself without lessening mine, as he who lights his taper at mine receives light without darkening me. This concept that one candle or taper can light another without being diminished serves as a symbol of the precious symbiotic relationship between Japan and the UK. a relationship based on a shared love and exchange of knowledge. And like twin flames, glowing brighter and brighter, when we connect, we prosper. Thank you.